All right, guys, today this nature nerd is gonna build a frog hotel. I feel like it might be an odd thing for a woman my age to be building a frog hotel, but I really don't care. I have to tell you guys, when I was a kid, probably about 8 years old, we lived in a city dwelling unit, kind of a house, but in the city. And we had a small backyard, but we had a tree and we had squirrels. And squirrels and crows was the nature that we enjoyed. So very different than Mississippi. I got a ton of nature out here. But anyways, I would collect acorns and pile them up when I was about 8 years old and put them all over the yard in these little piles. And in my mind, I was making sure the squirrels had enough to eat for the winter. My entire life, that innate desire to provide for nature has always existed. So even now, you know, I'm almost 50 years old and here I am making frog hotels. But I'm going to share it with you today. I think it's really fun and I think it's going to be exciting to see if a frog moves in. For this project, you're going to need a few things. So we are going to need some PVC pipe, and obviously the pipe can go straight through. You're going to need some caps for the pipe. Just different bends that obviously fit your pipe ends with no holes in the bottom. If it does happen to have a hole, you'll need to use something to stop it up, but you'll need a bucket with absolutely no holes. Need a solar light as well. Need some decorative rocks to fill in the bucket. And for fun, you might want some plants that go in water and or some different little decorations to put around this when we get there. This is probably the easiest thing to build. The hardest part is getting the poles to stand up as you're filling with rocks if you're doing it by yourself. If you have somebody to help you, it's perfect. You get them to hold the poles while the other person puts the rocks in. But for me, I've got to do it with just myself, so bear with me. This is how I'm going to position them in the pot. The pipes itself, they actually came pre-cut from Home Depot, which was great. You could buy super long ones and cut them yourself, or they had these ones. So I just went with pre-cut because I'm not a handy girl whatsoever. They're a tad tall, but I actually think they're going to work just fine. Right, now we need to get the rocks in. Perfect. Time to put the caps on. We'll put the light there. Accessorize this bad boy a bit. So I'm going to go with the theme that this is Froggeritaville, so it's frog o'clock somewhere, so hopefully Margaritaville, which is a chain down here in the south that's quite popular. Hopefully they don't take any fault with that, or they don't mind it, but this is our Froggeritaville hotel. Here's, I've collected some seashells, so we're going to finally have a place to put them. Now I ideally will get a nice chalk pen that would write a bit better than my actual straight up chalk, so that writing looks like it's kindergarten, but that gives you the concept that I'm going for. When I get a nice pen, I'll write it all pretty. But this is it so far. We just need to add the plants and some water. So I don't have any water plants, but I do have a walking iris that tends to stand really wet feet, so I'm gonna give it a go, see how they do inside of this. Last but not least, let's add the water. You can see that the water now is at the top of the soil. So that's it. It's complete. What will happen from here is we'll set this at a spot on the deck. The light will attract the bugs. The bugs then attract the frogs, and the little tops are what the frogs will then take residence in. But we'll see. We'll see if we actually get one. If nothing else, the kid and me had fun building this. So when I originally made this as a test, I wasn't quite sure this was going to work, so I'm quite happy to announce it absolutely does. We have a resident in the frog tower. Little green tree frog. It's early evening and he's getting ready to come out. He knows it'll be dinner time here soon. So it took about 2 days for a frog to actually move in. It did not take long at all. One tip would be build the frog station if it's as big as mine is. I would build it close to the location that you're going to keep it in, because once the rocks and the water is in, it's quite heavy. Now, why on earth would you want a frog hotel? Well, to attract frogs, of course. I mean, they're awfully cute, right? But it's not just that. They are good for keeping the bugs away from your home. So if you don't want a ton of bugs, you're not into the big chemicals, that kind of thing, put up a frog hotel, attract those frogs that are going to eat those bugs. And as things seem to get quite a bit hotter, I really like the idea of ensuring that there is a safe space with some moisture for the frogs. Their little bodies need that moisture, so it's good to have something there for them. For me, it's always about what opportunities I can find to be kinder to nature. So that's my ulterior motive in the end, and also seeing those frogs. And don't forget, guys, if you are a nature nerd like me, or you like gardening, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around. All right, the internal nature nerd is now fully satisfied. I have a frog hotel. I absolutely love it. It's going to sit here and hopefully have lots of frogs over time, eating the bugs that it naturally needs to eat and keeping them away from the house. Awesome, you guys. Be friendly, be kind.